What's up, guys? Welcome to another My Hero Academia review. This one didn't really have a lot going on, so we're just going to dive right into it. No, obviously stuff went on, but it just didn't really seem to be a big action-packed episode. We sort of see a lot of training with Bakugo, Todoroki, Inasa, and Kami, and then, of course, all the others in the remedial courses for the hero course, or for the provisional license course. Now, I guess after whatever happened in the provisional license exam that they first went to, Inasa seems to be trying to be friends with Todoroki. Todoroki is not really having any of it, and Bakugo seems to really hate it. These are not major plot points, at least I don't think so yet, but I'm kind of paying attention to everything just to try to make sure that we don't miss anything. But there was not a whole lot of plot development in this episode. But we did have a very interesting sort of mentality that is put forward that these characters, the main characters we're working with, don't really have. Except Kami, though she doesn't really also seem to have it, but I think that's just because she's dim-witted. Though we also have All Might and Endeavor who are there watching, and we also have Present Mike who just can't stand the silence. He doesn't like just sitting there watching, so he does his own little thing, but yeah, we have some interesting stuff going on with Endeavor and All Might, but let's talk first about what these main four characters are going to have to do and, well, are being subjected to for this episode. Kind of, because we got a preview shot from last episode that didn't happen until the end of this episode, meaning that what I thought was going to happen in this episode actually didn't happen, which was very frustrating because I thought that we would at least get a bit more action. So, Gang Orca is actually planning to have these main four characters interact with children, get the children to behave, play along, be nice, and apparently they gave these poor characters one of the most troublesome classes, period. And it's very clear, they establish at some point that there is one character, one kid who is causing the rest of them to have this mentality. My bet is on the creepy kid who's acting like a very cynical adult, which I don't expect from kids. I would expect from, well, cynical adults. But that's my guess. But we have all these kids sort of not really playing along. They're not really into this whole getting to see the hero. Like, they were all excited about getting to see the heroes, but we see that really they are not big fans of these specific heroes. But it's fitting that this is one of the tests that they have to do, because that was actually not something really given in the initial exam. Like, obviously they had to help people, but the only interaction they had to do with children was the fact that they were saving people and kind of being caring to the adults acting like children, whereas in this case, they're dealing with literal children. And we see, because of Inasa's sort of hatred of Endeavor, that being kind and appealing to children is a big deal, because you could literally be affecting the future generation of heroes. And clearly, Endeavor's smacking the papers away from, or smacking the signature pad away from Inasa when he was a kid, has affected him. And, well, guess what? He is one of the future members of the hero society. So Endeavor has unintentionally really affected one, possibly more, potential heroes for the future. I've also got to say that the way that these kids were portrayed is perfect for a group of elementary school children, because my God, I literally had flashbacks of dealing with elementary school children watching this, because they do have that nailed. Things like messing with Todoroki's first aid thing and calling it a wiener and just making fun of these people and punching at them and attacking them. Like, that kind of stuff in an ill-behaved class for elementary students is very common, unfortunately, and it was portrayed perfectly. I did like that a lot. Now, during this, we have All Might and Endeavor talking, and early on, we have Endeavor shout to Todoroki, telling him that, the future number one hero shouldn't be in such a predicament, and it draws attention to Endeavor, who we see, everybody goes, this is the number one hero, and it draws the attention, and then they see All Might, and they're like, oh my gosh, All Might's here, hi, and they're all excited to see him. And it's kind of funny, because even with Endeavor being the number one hero, nobody sees him as the number one hero, and he actually at one point, kind of, I guess as close as we can get for Endeavor, opens up to All Might and asks him, what does it mean to be the symbol of peace? And All Might points out that, if he is trying to be All Might, he's not really going to pull it off. He needs to be his own hero. And we see that with the way that Endeavor has always seen his position as a hero, he climbed so far and worked so hard to become the number 2 hero. And when he saw the heights that he had to climb to become number 1, he knew that it was something that he would never achieve. And when he did achieve it, it was basically because he ended up basically having All Might nearly be killed and forced into retirement. But All Might even says himself he doesn't really know how to explain what the symbol of peace means, because he didn't really have an idea of what it was. He just knew that there was a light that he needed to run towards to achieve his goals. But with the passing of Sir Night-Eye, one of his fans, and then of course his sidekick, he sees that one of the shortcomings, one of the problems with running towards that goal nonstop, is that he pushed away people who cared about him. He pushed away the things that were near and dear to him to achieve that. And the kindness that people were trying to give him, he would push aside in order to achieve that goal. And at the end of the day, it worked, but it, to him, has a very heavy burden, a very heavy tax to what he had to sacrifice. And with that sacrifice, he now sees, what he had been leaving behind. But now that he's no longer number 1, Endeavor, despite all the hard work he's been doing as number 1 hero, he even sees that as number 1 with all the work he's doing, he's still seeing crime rise because that symbol of peace is no longer there. And it's this interesting sort of idea that the number 1 hero, previously number 2, is, instead of trying to take the symbol of peace position or the number 1 hero position and make it his own, he is trying to emulate One for All. He's trying to emulate All Might. And I think naturally people are just comparing Endeavor to All Might, and it's not really a good idea to do that because he's not the same hero. He's going to go about things different ways, though he does, I think, need to lighten up a little bit. And really, that was the biggest sort of development point of this episode. I know it's not really meant to be a major coverage episode of big things happening, and I wasn't expecting it to be, but I was definitely feeling like there should have been maybe a little bit more, but there wasn't, and that's fine. I'm not really expecting the world out of this episode, but apart from that, we have these, wannabe heroes. We've got Inasa, Kami, Todoroki, and Bakugo trying now, after this whole big interaction that we see between Endeavor and All Might, getting back to them. I can't speak right now. Getting back to them, they're basically just trying to come up with their own ways to sort of become friends with these kids, get the kids to behave. And obviously by the end of the episode, it's pretty apparent that the kid with the shadow over his face and the red glowing eye with the smoke trail coming off of him, I'm pretty sure he's the bad guy of these kids. Actually, looking back, it was not the kid leaning against the wall, but I still feel like he's probably the main influence on these kids in terms of why they're being so bad. And it's at this point that we see the 4 students basically going into fight mode because they don't really care. Either they don't care or they're going to have a sparring match with these children. I don't really know, but it's not disciplinary, or it doesn't seem like it's disciplinary. It just seems like they're doing it because, and then pretty much the episode ends. I feel like I'm not covering a whole lot in this episode. I know I understand that these heroes have to be appealing to children, and they have to sort of be able to get these children to do what they ask in an emergency situation, and this is perfect training for it, but that was basically as far as it went, and then they just spent a ton of time focusing on that, which is fine, because it is funny to see how each of the characters deal with it in their own ways. Bakugo's is immediately violence, Inasa's is very energetic, but also very kind of not interesting, Kami's is seductive, FBI, open up! And Todoroki's is boring as hell. Then, of course, we have the interaction with Endeavor and All Might, kind of talking one-to-one and figuring out what All Might was doing that Endeavor's not, why Endeavor has to be his own hero and can't just be a attempted carbon copy of All Might. And that was the episode. I mean, really, that was it. I've tried to boil it down as much as possible without taking out too much content, but there's not really much content initially to cover. I'm sorry. Though I'm sure, like most episodes, you all will have things to add, and if I missed something, please let me know in the comment section below. And apart from that, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, comment, and let me know why I missed 18 different things in this episode or whatever, and I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one. Hey guys, just hopping in at the end here. Thanks for watching through the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do still have merch. I've actually had it for quite a while, but not a lot of people know about it or care. And so if you guys want to support me or check it out just because it looks cool, go to the link in the description. You can see some of the designs I have, like the Steel Frodo in Steins Gate design, or even the Mob Psycho 100 design, and maybe even buy one if you like it, or don't. I cried myself to sleep at night anyway. So either way, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.